Hola a todos y todas, bienvenidos a otro capítulo más de Mortal Kraumbat. Esta vez tenemos otra entrevista. En esta ocasión tenemos como invitado a Mons de cEDH TV. Mons es súper conocido en nuestra comunidad por la serie de videos que hace, ya sea desde gameplays, pero también videos donde él básicamente trata de dar un contexto a la escena cEDH desde el punto de vista de los datos. La verdad es una personalidad en todo lo que es nuestro formato que nos gusta tanto, así que espero que la disfruten como la anterior. Además, no se olviden de que tenemos un torneo en mayo, el 25, es en Insert Point. Es un torneo que está principalmente enfocado para gente nueva en el mundo del cEDH, en los torneos de cEDH. La idea es que lo vayan a pasar súper bien, es barato, tiene buenos premios y en este caso vamos a estar Torque y yo como TOs ese día. Vamos a estar ahí para garantizarles que tengan una buena experiencia y la pasen súper bien. Si tienen algún amigo que se quiere motivar y quiere jugar cEDH, esta es una buena instancia para entrar al formato o para conocer un poco más cuáles son las dinámicas de los torneos. Así que están todos invitados y esperamos verlos ese día. To be today with Mons from cEDH TV. Hi, Mons.
Hello. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I mean, first of all, thank you so much for accepting this interview. You are a big personality in content creator related with cEDH. You has been contributing with a lot of things that goes from gameplays, but providing or trying to develop new methods to extract data and evidence related with the meta of cEDH, like related with which card has the biggest win rate,
Yeah.
which one the lowest one. So it's a lot of interesting things. You are involved in different projects. So I believe it's gonna be a very good conversation.
I think so too. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. So
Yeah. Can I say something? It's very fun to actually make those data videos and try to provide it, but it's very rare I get to talk about it, because I think that having a conversation about the numbers is an equal valuable thing to say as well. So I think that it's a great opportunity to actually do something like that. So thank you for having me for that.
Yeah, actually I am here. I work with data too. So basically I try to populate like the community in Chile about different statistics about the cEDH and share data that you also provide, and it's super cool. I mean, you can have a dimension of the analysis of the things that is more like you can plan about the tournament. You can the fine tuning of your deck sometimes could be very helpful. So yeah, definitely. So the first question is, how you start in cEDH?
When?
Yeah, is when, how, I mean, what is the context of that?
I think so. In basic, I have been playing Type 2 60 card Magic since I started. I don't know how many people know what Type 2 means, but it basically means vintage casual, truly. And yeah, I had 3 demonic tutors, I had a soldering, I had 4 strip mines in my casual vintage deck. So imagine that person suddenly starting to play casual EDH. You can imagine the power level you brought to the table with that. So it was a natural progression of understanding, okay, I'm playing my very expensive decks versus kids. I should power down. That was very hard. And eventually you kind of started to find others that were kind of equally minded, tried to power up, and eventually you kind of started to power up with a certain group in a good environment, you could say. And officially you could say I had a real cEDH deck when the Gitrog monster was printed. That is actually a
I
very
see.
good timeline.
Yeah, so basically you always play with powerful cards,
Yeah.
and the and you know the powerful cards in EDH are in cEDH, so that is the need. Um, Probably that doesn't mean that in lower levels, like now we have the brackets, so basically for good or bad we can say, okay, so in bracket 3 2 they don't play some card that could be powerful, but it's more like the whole strategy is
Yeah.
different, so they have different goals.
Yeah, that is also something I noticed earlier. You could definitely say that I have a optimizing mindset, so to say, and others that I
Yes.
played with in the beginning casual didn't. And eventually you find people with an equal mindset, and then everything is harmony, you could say.
Yeah, definitely. So cEDH is a very expensive format, so we have the
Yeah.
advantage. Yeah, so we have the advantage that we can play with proxies. So we can use fake cards. We don't have that barrier, because at least how we see, and probably everyone see, is that I want to play against your skills, not your wallet. So.
Yeah.
But even of that, we have like the people always feels this barrier, because you have some guys that don't want to play with someone that uses fake card. So what are your thoughts about that?
I totally agree with entire proxy mentality, and I actually even agree with some people that have said proxy mandatory. There are groups
Yeah.
that are forcing people to proxy to just make sure that they power up properly, so to say.
Okay.
And I would somewhere actually agree with that too. However, I do understand the feeling of wanting to have real cards. So
Yeah.
I kind of like having very high quality looking cards, because it just feels kind of good. I mean, we are spending a lot of time in this hobby, so if we're gonna spend
Yeah.
this much time, it better look good. Like, try to sit in a comfortable chair for a long time. The chair better be good, high quality chair, and I think the card should be
Yes.
that too.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
I do think that people should proxy all the way. However, you should do it with very detailed information on what cards you're playing, because you can proxy with a fake image, and I would encourage that you do it with a real easy looking image.
Yeah, and that is something that is. I mean, we have so many variants, and we have new secret
Yeah.
layers with different arts, and I really like it, and I play with those. But lastly, I start to find that sometimes it's very difficult to identify which card is with. I mean, probably this is the first time that I am saying this, and it's to you, because I mean, my deck is full of these different art, but like in some tables, when you are in a tournament, you can miss things because you don't identify properly some cards. So do you believe that we need to move in a direction that we move the standard higher, to use only sometimes some kind of art, or you believe that we need to basically like be open to all the art that Wizard is just printing today?
I actually think that this is a question for Magic the Gathering in general, because I do agree that there have been so many different variations of arts, and there's good stuff with that, but it comes with the problem that they could be hard to recognize. I think this is something Wizards should actually talk a little bit about more in general. I don't think this is I don't think this is a responsibility on us. Do you understand what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
But I would encourage tournament organizers for pushing that you use the most common art on the specific proxies, actually, though.
Yeah. I because it's like the other day I was talking with some friend, we were playing, and one thing that came up was the playmat. Like we have this very unique playmat with the arts, and but then we have the arts of the card, and some art, mix with the playmat art, so they make
Ah.
more difficult. And the conversation went in the direction that, so this is problematic because we need to have attention to three different pots. What is on the table? What are the intentions of the different players? But now we need to have special attention to the art you don't, like it's a great digger cage on play with the art, like the poster, and then we say, okay, so I play bridge, and all the people is okay, it's a cage on board, and then was like, oh damn, I didn't see it because it's weird art. I don't distinguish from the map, and
I have an
yeah,
answer. I have a really
okay,
good answer.
okay.
You might not like the answer. Do you play 40k or any kind of Warhammer miniature war game?
No, I didn't play it. I know what it is. I know what
Yeah,
it is.
I think the audience also know it. But you can have tournaments in a miniature war game such as 40k, and it's basically a lot of measuring models here and there. And there's a lot of art and terrain and such. And running tournaments has a problem that if you accidentally nudge a model a few inches, that's illegal. And it can, even though you have measurements, it can be a discussion if it's within range. And did you accidentally move the model a little bit too far? Is this terrain piece actually stretching in this area? Have we agreed that the millimeters on this edge on this city on this building is correct? So the way people are often saying is that 40k maybe shouldn't be taken as serious just because, or miniature war games in general, just because of the possibility. There's so many possibilities that this could be turned into an interpretation situation.
Okay.
And I think that Magic could have that same problem, but in a smaller concept, so to say.
Yeah.
If you actually take it to the far end of this conversation, the answer is basically, we have to play with pre-made decks. You submit a deck list, you're receiving a deck, and you're playing with a specific playmat provided to you by the organizer. Now everything is suddenly working as perfect as everyone wants, and it's boring. That's true. I mean, literally, we want to go to an event and hang out with friends, connect with people, and the more you're trying to control and make sure everything is around perfect, yeah, that's good, but it could hurt the overall feeling. Like, you want to go to your tournament and play with your playmat, and you want to go to the tournament and play with your art because that represents your identity. But yeah, it also hurts the tournament concept. We are gotta ask which one is more important, and I would say I think we should sacrifice tournament quality for player identity for your sake of representing your identity with your card image, if you get what I'm saying.
Yes, that sounds good. I mean, yeah, the people, because all this turning of the deck turning is basically the people trying to express their health in the deck at the end. Even you have the commander, because, and that is super interesting because in the tournament we know that Team Nakam is the most powerful deck out there, and probably Keenan, but you still see a lot of people that are not playing those decks, and it's not people that don't want to win, but it's people that put a lot of value in fields represented by the commander that they choose. So I believe that, I am completely agree with you in that probably with this homogenization that we are talking about, we need to sacrifice in order to express like the different players. Yeah. I mean, the other thing is that because this is probably drive us to this new thing. It's not so new, but it's like it's recently that Wizard is in charge of Commander.
Yep.
Is, and they recognize cEDH as its own bracket. Um, and the thing is that we don't know yet if Wizard wants, to recognize cEDH more than that. Like try to push in, like tournaments, like legal tournament. We don't know anything about that. So what are your thoughts about this specific topic?
So I have two things to say. I think that the biggest mistake they ever made, in their financial opinion, is to take over EDH, because it is a very. Here's the thing: no matter what they do, or no matter what the RC does, they're going to be hated by some group, some part of the situation. And the easiest way to handle this is just to be on the sideline and say, we're not responsible for this. The RC is making choices. We're just printing cards. They can't do that anymore now that they have taken control over it, so to say. Now they have responsibility, and the hate and blame will be on them instead of the RC, which we could argue is a good thing or a bad thing depending on the player base. But for Wizards' position, I think they would be better off as a company to just not take over EDH. I do, however, also think that they should and will, once again for financial reasons, try to make cEDH tournaments eventually. Because something they actually have said and have been trying for quite a while is trying to figure out how to monetize Commander, which is really hard because it's a casual format. People show up and they play for no reason except for playing, which is how it should be. But Wizards want to make money, and the only thing they know how to do that is to make tournaments. And ta-da, cEDH players want tournaments. So I think this is a optional financial optional market for them to try to enter into. So I think that they are going to do it someday.
Yeah. So the only thing is that they are not gonna allow any proxy. So that is the obvious thing. And we have the SCG tournament, cEDH tournament, that they are not allowing proxies, and are, in terms of people, are very big, but in terms of how the lists are, you are far from optimized. So I don't know. Sometimes I start to think about that. Maybe when they start to do this, because they are already doing through SCG, we start to see that independent of the prices, we have a movement of pro players from 60 format to cEDH, and that is going to open like a different tournament era of cEDH, because pro players are different. They live from this, and right now the cEDH players cannot live only playing cEDH. It's like they don't make enough money. So we are not like a tournament format yet, like a real tournament format yet. And I believe that is the same probably for Europe, right? Because this is my opinion, is basically based on US.
No, it's the same here. That 100%. I think it's even smaller. I think US have more tournaments because it's easier to organize tournaments inside one and the same country, and USA is one and the same country, while Europe are several. So that's a big reason.
Yeah. So in terms of Mons, in terms of the cEDH thing, so you believe that there is a US meta and Europe meta, or is mostly the same?
I think potentially, but mostly the same, honestly. Yeah.
Okay.
You could say that there could be an Asian meta or an twist, but in general, I think we are mostly the same.
Yeah, Japan, Asia have some different things related with their culture. That is like because we have this political factor in the tables. it's like the culture it matters a lot. So basically, and maybe you can confirm that because in Europe you have several countries, different cultures. So you, when you play tables with people from different countries, you feel that difference in terms of, the deals, or what they want to accept in terms of, a play, for example, or is more like.
Well, I'm never gonna trust the Danish. Just joking. So Sweden and Denmark have a hate-love relationship, and it's just something we joke about to each other. But I understand what you're meaning. Yeah, there's definitely some different culture concepts within Europe and countries, but in general, and we are different compared to Americans in that regard, definitely. And like Americans are the same kind of culture, but in general, inside the game, it's the same nation, if you understand what I mean.
Yes.
So even though I'm playing with a Danish, we're still like, we're still like, just if we're two Americans playing versus each other, or even two Swedish people playing versus each other. For those who don't know, I'm Swedish.
Okay, I see. So
I don't think that there's a big political change or difference between Europe and USA in general.
Okay. Yeah. So, and in terms of the card choices, you see more innovation in Europe versus the US, or you see basically the same?
I think I'm gonna give this one to Americans, actually. I think they are maybe a little bit more innovative. That's a tough question. With internet, you don't know who you're talking to, and you don't know where they're from until you start to read maybe spell errors. Then you can see he's probably not a native English speaker, but that could place the person I'm talking to anywhere, because there's so many different locations. So I honestly don't know, but if I would guess, I think Americans might be a little bit more experimental.
Yeah, probably, because it's like but I mean, when we talk about experimental, it's like 4 or 5 cards different between. It's not like a completely deck. It's that kind of things. Yeah. I mean, and in terms of tournament modes, you play tournaments in Europe, or you are more like in the part of content creator that consumes more of your time, or you also dedicate time to tournaments?
I don't dedicate that much time to tournaments at all. I'm going to one soon in Stockholm, to my friend Pontus tournament.
Nice.
Which is a local tournament in paper in a local game store. And we hosted one, me and Pontus, in Netherlands. That was awesome. But other than that, I don't go to so many tournaments, as there aren't as many locally in Europe. And I don't enjoy playing over webcam. So that's that. If there were if I had more tournaments to go to physically, I would. But
yeah, because it's like, and it's the thing that we circle back to live from this. So right now it's like, depending on the country, you can live from the content creators, but usually it's like the people work and then in the free time play when they have a little of free time. So it's different from 60 format, that you have people that actually live from this. So, and in terms of decks, because you are well known for your system, lastly you have been trying to work with this system using necro dominance and necro potence.
You've done your homework.
Yeah, because we consume your content. I see your gameplays are really fun. That is very important for a gameplay, because you doesn't want to just you see the same things like you can do. Basically, you want to see different things. You can see that the people use different cards, different commanders, strategies, etc. And in terms of the you basically, what is your favorite one? Maybe Sisei, maybe it's an older one. I don't know. And from the new commanders, is one that you believe is, like interesting, or maybe it's gonna be competitive in the future?
I'm gonna say Cece is by far my favorite commander, and I don't think there's gonna be anything that is gonna topple that for a while at all. Like, she is definitely my favorite. For new commanders, there's a bunch of them that have some potential. I don't think that they're gonna become the next Nadu, if you know what I mean. Or I don't think that they're gonna be like the next Kinnan either. Any of them.
Yeah.
But I do think that some of them could go into like the same level as the average total, so to say. There's like a whole bunch of commanders that are like in the middle. They aren't the top best options, but they're doing kind of fine, so to say. Like
Yeah, the people was very, very hype about Hashaton. That was but I don't know. It didn't work well at the end. It's like
no,
it's probably it need a lot of setup to do the thing. And I was tracking it in the tournament, and I didn't see any spectacular performance. The one that I believe is performing very well is Glarb.
Glarb is doing fine. Hashaton is currently well, I have the data. Hope you don't mind.
Yeah.
Hashaton is currently sitting at 15.21% win rate from 174 tournament entries, which is rather bad. Glarb is doing better. Glarb is sitting at 18.69 from 234 tournament entries, and it's been going a little bit upwards. So I think that Glarb is like being figured out and could climb a little bit more higher, but I don't think Glarb is like going to reach Kinnan level.
No, definitely no. I played TNK, but also I played Glarb, Leslie. Because I it's like this sensation to play with something that is not the most powerful. You want to feel what is playing with something that is not that level, but also play without white, because it's white you have all these silences. So basically you learn different things. But for us, for Glarb, TNK is a very bad matchup in general. So basically, I believe that the decks that can climb a little more is the ones that can have better matchups against TNK, and that probably opened the question about: did you believe that Timna need to be banned?
No, I don't think Timna needs to be banned. I don't think Timna is the problem. In fact, I would dislike that, because I think Timna is good for the format because she rewards combat. And I kind of want that.
Oh.
Like two of the best cards in my opinion for the format is Ragavan and Opposition Agent. Ragavan is promoting combat. It is better than a Bird of Paradise theoretically, but it demands that you successfully connect. Otherwise, it's just a creep. And Opposition Agent is rewarding you for interacting. And before Timna, we didn't even have combat. Yeah, like people had attackers and they never attacked because why bother? It's pointless. The game is gonna be over before anyone dies of combat damage. I'm not gonna waste time doing that. But then Timna came back and brought cards like swing for the win here. So I think Timna is good for the format.
Yeah. So because we opened the question about the ban things and unban things. What are your thoughts about all this last communication from Wizard?
Can I actually say something before ban? Because for those that didn't watch your previous video with Freedom Waffle, I actually agree with him. he said a lot of good things regarding heuristic study and Mystic Remora. So I would just like to add, I think those are cards that should be looked into instead. And yeah.
Yeah, I'm agree with him, because it's like at the beginning I was thinking that flash enablers are the problem, because basically you are just like, the Spider-Man memes, just pointing each one. So basically you are just waiting your opportunity, but that is possible because you draw so many cards at the end. It's like, if you don't draw so much, unless your strategy is focused on that, you should have the resources like limited.
Yeah.
And I'm agree with him and with you. Yeah.
Did you play during the Flash Hulk era?
No, I start later. Yeah.
Yeah. The Flash Hulk era was like the current thing you're talking about and complaining about is the concept of the Mexican standoff, which is the Flash enablers basically. And Flash Hulk was the ultimate Mexican standoff concept. It was very psychological how you would sit and observe the match when people had Flash Hulk availability. And a problem a lot of people had with that is that it's very mind draining in a strange way, because it just goes in a very theoretical game change that isn't really about Magic the Gathering cards anymore. It's a very much about like poker game mentality, kind of, so to say.
Yes.
And I actually like that, and I enjoyed that Flash Hulk era concept, so to say. So I personally do enjoy the current Flash enabler, I steal the win on top of your win concept that we have now. That is lower compared to the Flash Hulk era. But I can see that people don't enjoy it. I truly can. And I like a very mean answer is practice. A better answer would be maybe there should, like, I think that cEDH community should have a discussion about what do we want cEDH to be. And now that Wizard of the Coast is in charge, maybe we could have that discussion with them. That could be a great thing. But I don't think that there's a right or wrong answer to the Flash enablers. I just think that we should have that conversation of what we want.
Yeah, definitely. But okay, so we're talking about bans, unbans, and we have this recent communication from Wizard. When they make a lot of statements, we can agree or disagree with some of them, but at least they are talking about. I mean, one thing is that they provide us a little of stability in terms of the card, in terms of say, okay, so we are not banning anything this year. Maybe we believe that we should have at least one more, like at the end of the year, or like November, whatever. But I think it's fine because we need some security about what cards we want to buy and things like that. So what is your opinion in general about the series?
So I actually agree with what you kind of said there. Stability is quite important, and they didn't unban a few cards I wanted, but something they actually wrote is that we just want to make this slow and steady, and I agree with Wizard of the Coast on that regard, that it may be just good to take it slow, so that it's not like, oh, it's unbanned, it's banned, and unbanned, and then it'll just be annoying. So I like that it sounds like they're thinking about the cards, but they're being hesitant, and I think that's a good thing. So I agree with you for price regards.
Yeah, for that. But also they talk about, the most controversial bans were Dockside, Mana Crypt, and Jewel Lotus. Probably Jewel Lotus is gonna be unbanned in some point of this year, because they actually say it. But they also make this little statement about different cards that the DM says this is not gonna happen. For example, Fastborn is not gonna be unbanned. Or we have, for example, Balance is not gonna be unbanned. But the things about Dockside and Mana Grid, for me at least, was like the people or the people that is you know, involved in this do not want to unban yet because the thing that happened in US during the XRC. So so I don't know how to feel about that because it's like we always gonna be morons and people that hate or whatever. So we cannot control that. So what are your thoughts? Do you believe that those cards need to be unbanned or
No, I don't think they need to be unbanned. Jewel Lotus is probably going to be unbanned, as you said,
yeah.
someday, eventually. I honestly, like, I've been playing this game for too long to care. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's a new game, kinda. I'm not playing this card anymore. I get to experience a different variety of cEDH now, you could say. That's the take I had on Flash Hulk. Like, okay, cEDH is a little bit different. Who cares? Like, I've been playing so much Flash Hulk era that I don't need to go back to it. It was fun, but now it's different. Dockside was fun, now it's different. When they print Magic the Gathering card X, it's gonna be different.
Yeah.
But
the only thing is that
I can see both worlds in this. Once again, like I can see the appeal for both sides, but it's still fun with or without it.
Yeah. And related to the unbanned card, how you feel about gift ungiven? You like it? You are very, like
I like it. I think it's great that card is unbanned. It's not too busted. It's gonna be an upgrade for the Underworld Breach. Yay! Which doesn't need an upgrade. Like, this is literally like if you're playing Intuition, which you probably already are, you're gonna auto include gifts and gifts for sure. I think.
Yeah, but the one who, I mean, because that is the obvious things, and it's like, okay, so probably you are gonna play so many times with TNK, and probably you're gonna not use give and givens, and probably it's gonna be more determinant, a voice of victory. That card is, I mean, I play TNK, but I feel that we don't need a second silence effect. Another silence effect. This is I believe it's a little busted.
I actually made a video on the old meta when Dockside was legal, and I think I looked into the verdict on how many silence, if you should play Silence, Grand Abolisher, and Drainer Captain all three together. And I actually think that the verdict that your win rate was better if you played all three compared to just playing two of them. As a short comment.
Yeah.
Silence effects are really good. Was the verdict we reached in that video, if I remember. I haven't done it yet with the new post-ban of Dockside, but could look into it soon, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, so far, in my experience, it's like Gemstone Caverns now is more strong than ever because you say human in that deck, and basically you just throw voice second turn, fifth turn, and then you need all the people around trying to figure out what to do, and I believe that card is busted, but when I welcome back, circle back to gift, it's like.
Can I comment that actually?
Yeah.
I disagree because something we have said for a long time inside the cEDH community is that combo is a police on the format. It is the fact that you have combo forces people to have that in regard, and it kind of controls what kind of cEDH that you can make. And if you remove Cavern of Souls and the Grand Abolisher concept altogether, you remove the policing of the counterspell tribal, you could say.
Oh yeah.
Because it's good that the game somehow finishes, and it's good that people have a time limit until someone figures something out. I remember when Magic had these creatures that were basically almost unstoppable until there were so many different variations of spot removal that even Emrakul, the 1515, could be killed, so to say.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, what I'm trying to say is that I believe it's powerful because previous boys, you have a abolisher, so the people didn't throw on the table because it was like, I'm gonna just drop a abolisher and probably it's gonna be copied and someone is gonna win because we have Dockside, but right now we have this creature that it have a very good synergy with Timna, and now if someone kill it, I don't care because I have a abolisher and I have Ranger and I have all these silences effect, so I don't care if it gets killed. So probably my point is that it was a card that we don't need in the format. It was like it's a little busted because it's 1/3, so basically it resists a lot from multiple master. So in general, I believe it is a bad design.
It's also a white and a colorless, so it's easier to cast.
Absolutely. I mean, and it's like a bad design. I don't know. Well, it is what it is. We have it. We need
I
to
don't
play
think
with
that they
it.
designed it for Commander in their minds at all.
Oh, no.
So
Oh, no.
it could be a good design for another format. That's the thing. But I can agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, but that is actually an excellent point because we are so commander-centric that we believe that all the cards, are designed to feed all the strategies, but in the end...
Honestly, we should start to have huge demands because Commander is the biggest format in Magic the Gathering. So I think Vintage, Modern, and all the Pioneers and Cash and the stand-up play, they should step aside, literally. This is a Commander game now.
I mean, and to be honest, it's like the more profit that Hasbro made is probably from Commander.
Yeah. I mean, this has actually been said by some Magic the Gathering financial YouTubers that Commander is like the moneymaker for Wizards.
Yeah, I mean, they just the last week they released like the earnings from I don't know which quarter was, but it was huge. Like the quantity of money that they obtained from just printed is a lot. I mean, digital they do almost zero. It's basically the 1% of all the earnings, but physical is so much. Tarkir, Dragons of Tarkir just sold incredibly well, and we have now in the horizon Final Fantasy, so that is gonna sell super well.
Yeah,
but okay, so we need to come back to Give and Give. Okay, we go in a different direction, but
sorry.
Give and Givens. No, it's okay. It's part of the interview, and that is because it's gonna be fun. So Give and Givens, it looks like obviously in bridge decks working very well. But what do you think in decks that are not bridge centric? Are and not necessarily with graveyard strategy as a value piece, like one combo piece, because you find 4 ones and you have some recursion on it. What do you think about that? Is it gonna warp the meta? Is it gonna be an auto-include in every deck with blue?
No, it is not gonna warp the meta, and I don't think it's gonna be an auto-include, but I think it's gonna be a consideration in the lack of black tutors for some decks. Just because of the fact that you're gaining 2 cards. So if you're able to desire the 2 weakest cards among 4 optionals, then it sounds pretty good. Listen to this. Esper Sentinel, Rhystic Study, Mystic Remora, the One Ring. I don't care.
Yeah, definitely. And do you believe that this card, reduces the movement of the use of other cards, for example, more opposition agents in the meta?
Hard to answer. I don't know.
Okay.
I think so I think that people are gonna be very keen on testing out gift ungiven, and because of that, you should be including your opposition now. But it could be something you should remove later, so to say. So yeah, that's what I think.
Because it's like the how I see it, like the players usually go to try to have a response to the threat, but then they figure out that I don't want a response to the threat. I want to do the same but better. So I don't know, cards like Narset Reversal. How do you think? Because Narset is gonna be like, I come back your spell to your hand, and now I copy and I search. So what do you think about those cards? Is Narset Reversals so nothing played? Nobody played right now. Maybe Ursa, but nothing else. So you believe that it's gonna be see more play?
I don't think Narset Reversal is gonna come back that much equal to an opposition agent.
Okay.
Because it has a little bit less hits compared to an Oppo agent. I mean, worst scenario, you take a land with Oppo, and like normal scenario, Narset Reversal is a counterspell, kinda.
Yeah. The difference is probably from flare of duplication.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna win more value because the list already played that card because it's very good, but you have now another very good target for the spell.
Yeah.
So probably that one is gonna be more played.
I can see that some people start to play Narset Reversal a little bit more, but I think it's gonna die down a little bit. I don't think that Gifts Ungiven is gonna be a big a recurrer that much. It's gonna pop up like either equal or a little bit more compared to Intuition, but not more than that.
Yeah, I mean, it's super interesting, that dynamics. It's happened too with Mistress Village, the new land. When all the people, including me, so okay, this land is gonna be super problematic. It's gonna warp the meta, but I am not sure. I mean, it's a good land, but I'm not sure if it's, it's like most of the wins that I saw in the table are not making a spell, like cannot be countered. So in your testing of the card, how do you feel about that land?
Well, Seiju, who shelters all, have kind of died down a bit. So
okay.
I will say the same thing with that one. The big thing with this land is that it taps for colors and it comes into play untapped. Correct me here. It has a condition, right? That it comes into play untapped.
If you have a forest or a mountain.
That's the condition. Yeah, it was something like that. Because of that fact, I think it has more playability than Boseiju, because the situation where you want to make your Adnos uncounterable with your land is rare, but it is desired. But the fact that Boseiju comes into play tapped makes it like, kinda. So I think that this land has a little bit of a lesser chance, but it's going to be viewed like a land, similar to Minamo's Schools at Water Edge. And here I actually want to say something. I think that this land is great, because it is. You talked about banning Tymna. This is how we solve Tymna. We create cards that Tymna Crom can't really play, but other lower color identity decks can play. Because Tymna Crom demands so much color fixing that a land that taps for just one blue is kind of tricky to add to your colors. But like a Tamer deck or a 2-color deck can easily play like this new land that taps for one blue.
Yeah, and also it's like I was testing that land in TNK, and it doesn't feel necessary. You have so many ways to do the win attempt.
So you could say that's an option for the TNK, but it's an upgrade for another deck, and that's kind of good for the format.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I am agree with you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Mons, I mean, one of the big contribution that you made to the cEDH community is your data analysis. So So you have been doing this for how the win rate of a specific card, modify. So how the specific card modify your win rate, but also it's like how the combination of them change the same parameter. That is another thing, and this is super interesting because we have so many tools online. We can go to the EDH and see a tournament and then link to the deck and copy that deck. And it's okay because not all the people is good making decks. So we need to agree on that. But the cards choices, you believe that we need to start to take in more account the data in order to card choices, or you believe that it's more like the player need to drive by the feelings?
So yes and no.
Okay.
I think that people should be aware that some cards aren't really doing great, but ultimately I think that people should be playing what they enjoy and feel comfortable with. This is something you touched in the beginning of this video, that sure, they are like, this is the best commander, but people are still popping up with these not the best commanders. I think that's an important mention, but I think that I dislike hearing people say, this is the best commander in the format, when we have a lot of data saying something different, like saying the opposite even, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoy hearing people saying, I have played Hashoton a lot, and I've gotten really good at it. And I've learned that this card here specifically is good. It kind of works with my playstyle and my strategy. And I know that people aren't really winning a lot with Hashoton, but I think I have personally started to figure something out individually. And I think I think that's a word to mention and something people should take with them, that maybe you don't have to follow the data if you have discovered something individually yourself. But if you haven't, you should probably kind of look at the data to get an understanding, so to say.
Yeah, I mean, and probably we are talking here about the mean of the data, because we saw, like so many points, and basically we have some parameters, means, like different distribution of them, and we have some commanders that are very skill rewarded. So we have, for example, we have Magda. So Magda do not perform well in all the tournament, but we have Magda, Magda players or pilots that they basically, like obtain very good results. So so probably, yeah. Give me your
Magda has a better win rate than Nagila currently.
Oh, well, Nagila falls, like...
Yeah, you should. Yeah. Magda has a win rate of 21.35 from 427 tournament entries, which is a lot. It's a very popular deck, and it's performing okay in the end. It's definitely not the best or like up there among the... But it's...
But you can see like a difference between good Magda players, very experienced one, and the ones that you are taking because it's more, they believe are friendly, but they don't catch that it's not friendly at the end. It needs to profound understanding of the deck. And we have that for different commander. We have Tamiyo, I guess. Tamiyo is the expert one that circle the It's Tamiyo. I don't remember what the name, but it's like it combo with Mind Over Matter and all this. I think that one. We have Tayam. Well, we are talking about our commander with T. Tayam is another example. Tayam performed very well in people that know what the deck do, but when we saw the data, we saw the win rate. Probably we are gonna miss in that.
We do. I actually looked into this because this is also in pre dockside ban, where I had an enormous data set of a lot of players, and I separated players that played 10 or more games and had a very high win rate overall, regardless of what commander. And I looked at Kinnan's win rate in only that, and suddenly Kinnan was like one of the best commanders in the format.
I remember your video, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
and then I looked in the non-experienced group, and suddenly Kinnan's win rate just went boom. So the verdict is that there's a lot of Kinnan is a very popular commander played by everyone, casually and good players. And it this is actually a very good thing by the way, because this means that there's a lot of player skill compared to deck card choices. And I want to emphasize that player skill is more important than card choices and commander choices. And that's a good thing. That means that the format is a good format.
Yeah, I am completely agree with you, because it's like when we say, okay, so imagine we say Necropotence. So Necropotence, it has a win rate of 30%, whatever, in the XX. So the people can get the message, oh, I need to play Necropotence. But if you don't understand how the card, provide you, for example, that if someone silences you or someone, cast an Angel Grace, you can use the Necropotence triggers to end that effect and win in that moment. You are not gonna basically improve your win rate, because this associated win rate probably is related with player skill. So I am completely agree. So basically the people need to have this premise first that players' skills always is go on top of card choice. And and that comes to my mind that I was helping a friend, to turning his deck, and I remember to talk about, so this card complicate you. This card for you is like, I don't know how to play it. I know, you always have like the same card, but it's in a lower tier. So for example, you have Chain of Vapor. Chain of Vapor is like, it's very good. You also can do political things like, okay, so I'm gonna resolve this situation. So I'm gonna, but you need to copy, and you do. Basically, it's like that is more advanced politic in tournament, but you have a single effect like Into the Floma that is basically just straight, and you can use some card choices that are easy to use. So that is the other thing that comes to my mind in this conversation, that is like how we have cards that are like easy to play it to the beginning players. So basically we can have a list of Kinnan that use more friendly card, and a list of Kinnan, and both could be competitive, but basically the difference is like the skill level that need to be used in one and the other.
I definitely agree, and there are a bunch of recommended beginner commanders with a very good win rate. And something I've heard that a lot of local game stores that host tournaments is that they actually build a beginner good friendly tournament commander. Usually like Etali. I think Etali is going to be one of those maybe best beginner cEDH decks, because it's actually a very good deck. It's starting to become quite strong, and it's very easy to play Etali. Okay, Etali players are gonna disagree with me. I know there's gonna be like, no, Etali is super complicated and all that. But like, cast Etali and bounce Etali, cast Etali again, and figure something out. It's not super hard compared to like other decks, let's say.
And Italy have this, like when Italy wins, it's fireworks, like, because it's like I remember a game that the Italy player just cast it, and from my deck they revealed Tastas, and from the deck in the front revealed Tainted. So basically, what is the chances to do that? And
I've had a game where that happened. Literally, that was amazing.
Those games keep in your memory, because and I am agree with you. So basically the people when enter to this format need to enter to something that they can pilot easily.
Yeah, and when they like, what's the best introduction to cEDH? You want to play a big dino, right?
Yeah,
Big
yeah,
dino.
yeah, doing crazy things, because you cast the spell for free. So basically, it's like you don't need to do anything. Um, so in terms of data, so what are your future projects? You are because also you had this series of videos that you watch different play games, and you start to collect data. Um, some and something that I want to ask about that is like you in the disclaimer you say, okay, so are from these and these and these channels. So has you in mind to do the same but just with tournament gameplays?
Yes and no. So I actually
Okay.
have a few tournaments in there already because some YouTubers upload tournament games as well.
Yes.
So there are some in there as well. Yes. They are a little bit hard to do because they don't submit deck list all the time, so to say. So it's like,
I see.
I actually don't know what cards you have in your deck list. Maybe that doesn't matter. I need to go into EDH top 16 and find what the game this is and find the player and find the tournament and find the deck list. So I can do it. It's a little bit harder compared to like watching a regular YouTube gameplay video where they have the deck list properly.
I see. And Mons, you
And
did this.
there's not that
okay.
many YouTube gameplays from tournaments either, to point out as well.
Yes. And my question is, you have a script in order to read the card, or basically you watch all the games and you take notes?
I watch, literally.
Wow.
I have a video. I can link it to you actually. How I do it exactly, step by step. And
Okay.
it's literally watching it at ×2 speed, and then pause, write the card, resume video.
See.
2 seconds later, pause and write the card.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot of work. Yeah. So you have planned to continue with that series, so it was like something experimental. And what are your plans for future in terms of data?
So my plan is definitely to continue that, because I actually think that it's going to be a very good method to truly figuring out things better, because there are some problems so for example, the current most common statistics I've been showcasing is the easy one from EDH top 16, where we have wins and deck list. That's sadly all we have. We don't know if this Tuna Chrome player played versus only Nagella decks, so to say.
Yes.
And we don't know the turn order, so there's a lot of stuff we don't truly know, and we don't know if a card specifically appeared in a game either. And we don't really know how certain cards had an impact in games either. So I think that this method is a little bit more superior to understand that concept. There's also one more thing to take into consideration, that you could say that there's another concept which is called cEDH, which stands for tournament EDH, and cEDH could stand for more like you and me playing at the local game store just for fun, could say.
Yes.
Because those are actually different. Like in a kitchen table, politics is more common, and in tournaments it's like, I don't care, like there's money on the line, I'm gonna lie to you, so to say.
Yeah, things change, and politics is something that we cannot quantify. So
I actually do the data on politics as well.
Oh really? Oh, that's nice.
Yes.
That's nice. Something that but again, it's like we can I mean, from the videos we can obtain that data, but from tournament it's difficult, because it's like you just put which one won in that table, or if it was a draw. We don't know we don't know many information. We don't know exactly the time when they finish, because you need someone that enter that information. So it's a lot of data that we don't have access yet.
Yeah, I mean, you could do it if more tournaments were uploaded on YouTube, I could grab them in this method.
Yes.
So if you're a tournament organizer, please upload your tournament gameplays and let me know when I will collect them.
Yeah, for sure. We're organizing in 3 weeks more a cEDH tournament, but focusing new people. So basically, we are gonna. It's like the same that as you say, that for people that's introducing. So if we're recording, I'm gonna let you know.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, definitely. So
one thing I can. You asked me about future projects. And the plan is to continue this project and try to grab as much as possible from it. A big reason why I've only so far showcased turn order win rates and turn ending when the turn naturally ends, which is currently around turn 5, turn 4, you could say, is because I don't have enough data yet. As you know, it takes a lot of time to calculate this. So I can say that Orcish Bowmaster seems to have a very good win rate, and Rustic Study seems to have a very good win rate too. But more than that, it's hard to say.
Yes, absolutely. And what do you think about the difference in the win rate between seed order? Because between first and fourth is like 10% or more. Like it's a lot.
You can take a look if you want to. I have it.
Okay.
So turn order is currently. So player 1 currently from 356 games is player 1 28.4%, player 2 27%, player 3 23.9%, and player 4 20.8%. So between player 1 and 4, it's a difference of almost 8% win rate.
Okay. Yeah, it's a lot.
I would like to point out that this has been getting worse and worse, so to say.
Yeah.
So when I had 100 entries, they were closer. 200, they were more apart. 300, boom, they were like very much apart.
Yes. So it would be nice that if this in the future will be addressed with a rule change. There's a lot of conversation about, like the seed 1 don't draw, and the seed 4 start with a token of like Hearthstone with this mana token. Yeah. So what are your thoughts about that? You believe there is a method that could be?
I think we need to do something, definitely, especially if this is going to be like a tournament format. This is actually one of the reasons why I am not so super. Tournaments, but what if I'm ending up at turn 4 every single turn in every single game? That's just bad luck. I mean, we should try to diminish the luck factor as much as possible. And a thing that I think is good is the scry concept. So player 2 is scrying 1, 3, 2, and 4 is free, scry free at the start of the game. I think that could work out. Whatever method we choose doesn't matter, because once we have one, we can start trying to gather data on that one and then see if that was enough. And then we tweak and say, okay, that was not enough. We need to boost it more until we hit equilibrium, so to say.
Yeah. It has sense. And what you say is key. So if we want to, make the tournament more serious, we want to take it more serious, we need to address those things. We need to solve the problem between seed 1 and seed 4. But here, yes, is the power of data. That is basically, we know that it's a different. So because I am playing in the full seed, I can take some measure related with my mulligans. So, what is my strategy? Because now I know this different. I know that I am, just by chance to be in the seed of 4. I have some disadvantage. So I can take some measures, countermeasures, and I believe the data provides us that power. So at the end,
Yeah.
definitely. So, so just to finish this interview because we has been talking about.
I don't want it to finish. This is so fun.
I mean, it's super fun to talk with you.
Thank you. Likewise.
You, you know a lot of the format, and as I say, you are making a lot of content that you are one of the biggest channels in cEDH, I guess.
No, I'm not.
No, because I didn't make the numbers and comparison, but I believe that you are the one of the in cEDH. I don't know if in cEDH is another channel that is.
This is a philosophical question. Like, how do you measure that? The answer is, well, look at like this. Some comedian has more views than me, but I'm making more videos than comedian. So if you combine all the videos I make in the same time period, do I have more? It's a very hard philosophical question to say who is the bigger one, and I don't think that is important.
It matters. Yeah, but you are one of the big ones that basically contribute a lot to the community. Because I know, because it's a lot of channel that has been proliferating, like just scrolling down in the tournament. That is fine, but from my perspective, the contribution is to highlight decks that are not so popular. So basically, it's like, because it's like you open this top 16 and you see 14 account. You open and say, oh, it's the same, whatever. Yeah. But then you start, you look in and you find Lambra and you say, okay, this cocaine bear, that's interesting. I'm gonna talk about a little more. And I believe that we have, like this kind of channels. We have the channels that, like do some gameplays, and you have one dedicated to that. But it's something that you believe we need more, like in terms of content creator, that you as a cEDH player want to see in the future, like, oh, it will be great to have a channel related with that content.
That's a good question. So I firmly believe that my advice to anyone who wants to make YouTube content, let's make cEDH or EDH content, try to make something no one else is doing. Because if you watch, for example, Play to Win or Playing with Power or my channel or any other gameplay channel, say, oh yeah, I can do that. Me and my friends, we know how to edit and stuff. What you're going to do is basically create a cheaper version of Play to Win. So why should I go and watch that guy when Play to Win have been doing it forever now and they are doing it better? What you should try to do is try to figure out something new no one else has thought of yet, and be original. So my answer is sadly going to be surprise me.
Yeah. That's a good answer at the end. Yeah, but I
think that a good content right now that the community could need is a heavy experimental channel on gameplay part, or a tournament vlogger. I think that a tournament vlogger could be very needed. I know that Alex from Mental Misplay is like doing a lot of interviews on tournaments, but it could be very good to have someone that's just traveling around and playing lots of tournaments and making remarks or making comments about various tournaments to try to improve the tournament scene, you could say. That could be very good for people that want to organize tournaments to see how others are doing it. So a tournament vlog. Correct me. I don't think we have one.
No, we do not have one. I mean, we have something that is a little in that direction. That is a channel that is the name is Critical EDH. So it's a relatively new channel that they in the tournament they record some like short interviews from other players that are around, and they talk about like what happened in the last round and things like that.
Yeah.
Like 10 minutes duration videos, I guess. Yeah.
That seems to be something towards the concept I'm talking about. Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
But the one that you say that is a very experimental one is something super cool because it's like new commanders, new strategies, new cards, and provide arguments at the end that why we don't play that card. Because I don't know if it happens to you, but for me it's like I don't have so many times for figure out if that card is gonna work or not. So basically what I do is wait 2 weeks, see the tournament data and see, okay, that card is the people is playing, and if not, I say, okay, the hive mind is working. So they are it's like I try to use their time as my time, but a experimental channel is really nice. Yeah, definitely. Okay, Mons. So I mean, this has been a great conversation with you. It has been a pleasure and an honor because you have so many years in this and you have been contributing so much. Yeah, you have.
Thank you.
You have some years, yeah, and you have contributed so much in different aspects. And here in Chile, we have a big fan base, and probably Latin America, we consume a lot of English content, and yeah, so I hope in the future have you again talk a little more. I mean, when we have more news to talk about it, and we have another opportunity to talk. And why not? If anytime you travel over here, we can just play some tables, some cEDH table, and have fun.
Thank you so much for having me. It was really fun. I love doing podcasts, and I don't do them myself, so I love joining others. And this was a fun conversation about a lot of different concepts, good ones.
Okay, thank you, man. Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.